Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another transfer news show for you guys. It's a big one, guys. Lots going on currently as we speak at the moment. Not only on Jordan Sancho, Raheem Sterling, Ben Chilwell, which we've heard a lot of today, but we've also going into stuff more information that's been coming out and looming in and around Victor Osimhen and Chelsea. There was also earlier news in regards to Ivan Toney as well, potentially coming to the football club. Now we're being told that it's Ivan Toney. Some are saying it's Victor Osimhen. We're being told that Chelsea are going to go back in for Victor Osimhen, but then we're being told Chelsea ain't because they're going after Ivan Toney due to wages and fee issues. There's a lot going on, guys, right now. Lots and lots and lots. I need everyone in the chat right now to smash the like buttons, guys. Let's get these likes up. We have got Raheem Sterling, Jadon Sancho, Ben Chilwell, Victor Osimhen, Ivan Toney. All of this news coming thick and fast to you guys as we speak at the moment. Make sure you smash the like buttons and let's cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this transfer news show for you guys. And we are getting closer and closer and closer to the deadline, guys. The deadline is close. Lots are going on currently at the moment in regards to Chelsea Football Club and strikers. We're being told Victor Osimhen for a very long period of time until we got the news in and around Ivan Toney. But then there's more news that's just recently come out on Victor Osimhen as well, which we're going to be getting into in the loom of all of this. We've got the Jadon Sancho situation going on as well, between Jadon Sancho potentially coming to Chelsea, Raheem Sterling going the other way. There's a lot going on, even involving Ben Chilwell as well, guys. And it's crazy. So much to cover, so much to get into. Over 150 people in the building already, guys. I need you to hit the thumbs, guys. You're here, you're watching us. Welcome, good to see you. But you need to smash the like buttons, guys. Lots to go through, and any sort of breaking news that comes out in and between of this time, I will be keeping you up to speed on that as well. But please, like I said, hit the thumbs, guys. This has not changed, and there's even more news on Victor Osimhen as well. Okay, interesting. Interesting. It's going both ways here. If you're not interested in something, this is interesting. This is interesting. There's a lot to get into. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot I need to get into. Victor Osimhen, Ivan Toney. That's what I've got to say right now. Who do you want? Victor Osimhen or Ivan Toney? Who is your preferred choice striker to lead Chelsea going into next season? I want to know in the chat, guys. Let us know in the chat what you think while we go through all the information that's currently coming out in and around the two striker saga at the moment at the club, along with the Jadon Sancho news. Lots going on. Why Toney? Osimhen. There we go. Danny wants Osimhen. Big up to you. Rossan, good to see you as always. Mark, big up to you as well. From Florida, Zendam. Osimhen bid is going into tonight. Well, that's what we're going to get into in a second. Matthew, good to see you as always. Hope you're well. Who would you want, Osimhen or Toney? Good question. I'm going to hold that for now, Matthew. We'll talk on it in a second. Lots to talk about. Osimhen has to be coming. No way we sell players to Napoli. Sam, who knows with Chelsea Football Club? Who knows with Chelsea Football Club? Osimhen, 1,000 million, jillion is what JT's saying. Toney, not a bad backup though. Ivan Toney to Chelsea, no thank you. But I personally would be happier if I see Jadon Sancho coming to Chelsea. Now, that's really interesting. I mean, I want to know why you feel that's the better deal. What makes you feel like that's the better option for you? More than Ivan Toney. He wants Sancho more than Toney. And what about Osimhen? What about Osimhen? Ivan Toney for sure is what Ron. This is what I'm saying. It's a split fan base right now, guys. Everyone is on like one side or the other. Some people are saying Victor Osimhen. Others are saying no, Ivan Toney. And it's literally the balance of battling of two strikers. Good strikers, by the way. Potentially coming to this football club. But I want to know why, guys. I want to know why. I hope we get Osimhen. At least Osimhen played in the Champions League. Is Andrew's fault on this as well. If we get Osimhen, then it's a statement. If we get Toney, then it's like we're settling. Toney isn't much better than Jackson, is what Wesley feels. Interesting. Jay Anderson, welcome. How are you as well? Guys, nearly over 200 people in the building. Keep running up the likes right now, guys. Please, please do that. Nearly 200 people here. We are flying through this. It's like I said at the beginning of the show. Osimhen or Toney? Let us know in the chat. Smash the like buttons, and we're going to go through some of the news that's just been coming out as well. Osimhen over Toney any day. What is our club doing? Embarrassing people saying Toney are clowns, not even joking. Interesting, Danny. Adil, how are you, bro? Good to see you. Jasper says Ivan Toney gives you a whole different game than Osimhen. Just watch how he holds up the play. We have speed on the wings. He thinks that Ivan Toney's all-round game is better than Victor Osimhen's. Interesting. Look at you guys in the chat. We're having so many different people with different thoughts and opinions right now. Keep getting your opinions in the chat. I want to know what your thoughts are, because this is the thing. It's going so back and forwards right now. We've got some people saying Osimhen, some people saying Ivan Toney. It's exciting times. I'm not lying. Pure hype, in my opinion. It's a different thing when you put on that blue jersey, is what bro says. John CFC, how are you? How are you? Just look at the statistics between the two players and you'll find out why, is what Amir says. So, Amir, are you saying Victor Osimhen, yes? Wesley says getting Osimhen is like a statement, like Chelsea used to make back in the old days. We are Chelsea. We are bigger than people think. Let's make the statement. He doesn't think Ivan Toney is a statement set. Sancho has come in. We saw last season when he left United, he balled again. Sancho has to come in. We've spoken, fed Misha too much, send for Misha on loan, is what JT's saying. Guys, keep getting them in here for me as well. Guys said, keep sharing your opinions in the chat. I want to know more. Osimhen, Toney. Well, this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to go through all of the news right now and get into more detail with you. But before we even get to Osimhen, before we even get to Toney, we've got Jadon Sancho news to talk about, Raheem Sterling news to talk about as well. But before we even get to them, guess who we're going to be talking about first? Someone that I think 99% of the fan base will be happy to know. Kepa Arrizabalaga here. Well, it's not here we go. I'll hold that back. Kepa Arrizabalaga to Bournemouth. Deal done. And medical test ongoing now at the Bournemouth ground. Kepa signs one more year of contract at Chelsea, now valid until June 26, and joins Bournemouth on loan until July. Agreements done between the parties. They've took him off us. They're paying his wages. That's his wages off the book for the year. It will come to next year. He'll be out of contract. We won't have to offer him one, which means he'll be a free agent. And then, depending on how he performs in this year, A, B, C, and D might come knocking on the door for him. The ball is in his court now. He has to perform at Bournemouth. Does he start? I don't really care. But he's got an opportunity to try and find himself a club giving him a long-term contract next year. But Kepa Arrizabalaga is coming off the books, is what I'm saying, guys, in the chat. 220 people in the building. Let's keep going, guys. Run up the likes. Keep smashing it. Keep smashing the likes. Keep smashing the likes, guys. Osimhen over Toney. Ivan Toney makes sense. This is what I'm saying. So many people. Chris says, here we come with Kepa. What statement signings have turned out in recent years, is what Jasper says. Was Cole a statement signing? Madwaki, we need hard workers with no fear. Toney is exactly that. Jasper's laying it down in the chat. He's saying this is why we want Victor. This is why we want Ivan Toney at Chelsea and not Osimhen. He's fed up of these statement signings that never pay off. The ones that are touted to be the best in European football for the first year. He wants someone that's going to maybe fit the profile better, work harder for the team, maybe not be in the limelight as much. I don't know. Toney's cheaper and just has a different set of skills. Completely, John. Completely. Ivan Toney, bring him. And listen, it might even be this, guys. And this is the other thing we've got to bear in mind. This could be a smokescreen. This could be a trigger. Obviously, I don't want to get into it yet because we're flying through. I know we want to talk about it. We are going to get into it. We've got the panel to join us as well very shortly as well. But Kepa, get out of my club. See you later. In the bin. We move on from Dad Deadwood to the news from Ornstein earlier on, talking about Jadon Sancho likely to exit Man United. Manchester United in talks with Juventus and Chelsea for a permanent loan. Chelsea would probably need to play the player to move other way. Raheem Sterling, most feasible, but a lot must happen for that to materialise. And this was a little while ago, right? When this come out, I was a bit like, I don't know what to feel about it. Really don't. A lot of people were saying it makes no sense. We're stockpiling. What we're doing with him. How does he fit the team? This, that, and the other. And I partly understand that. I think one of the big issues with him will be his wages. He's on ridiculous wages. If he's coming to Chelsea Football Club, I think Raheem Sterling going the other way is going to have to cut his wages. And I feel Jadon Sancho is going to have to come the other way and cut his wages. They're both going to have to bite the bullet, cut their wages. They're not worth the wages that they're on at the moment, and start again. Theoretically, start again. Play for your contracts. And then we go on from the Ornstein comment, and then we go into the news in and around from Fabrizio Romano, who also came out and said Chelsea's position on Sancho is we are happy to sign Sancho. If you take one of our players we want to get rid of. That's a very weird, let's say weird statement, intriguing statement. Very intriguing statement from my side of things. Because there's a couple ways to look at this. You're getting rid of a player that's nearly had 320k of wages on your book, scored 19 goals in all competitions across 3 seasons in Raheem Sterling, who hasn't been good enough, to then go and bring in another winger who's not done well at Manchester United for God knows how many seasons, is also on higher wages, okay? So I get this whole thing of, we'll have Sancho if you take one of ours, but the one that they're taking off us has got higher wages, and the one that we're taking off them also has sort of high wage. So, like I said, unless they're both willing to cut their wages down, this don't make sense. Then it's how do they fit the team? How do you fit them in? How do they materialize in what we're doing? A lot of people saying, how do you fit them into what we're doing? Well, there's a couple of things. I think hey, big up everyone that's coming through right now as well, aka Lewis the boy. Good to see you, bro. Big up to Lewis in the building, guys. Make sure you keep checking him out as well. Carefree Lewis as well in the chat, my boy. Big up to him. Lewis, if you want to come in, just drop me a message. I know you've been on live for a long time, bro, but if you've got a spare minute, you're always more than welcome to join, bro. Just drop me a message on Twitter and I'll send you the link, bro. Big up AKA. How you doing? John, everyone in the building. Good. How are you guys? Then we go on to how does he fit the team? How does Jadon Sancho fit what we currently have at the moment? Where would he play? For me, personally, he'd play off the right. When you look at what we have on the right, Noni Madueke, potentially Cole Palmer. Neto could obviously play off that right. We know that. But I feel Neto and Mudryk will be your left. I feel Felix, Palmer, and Kunku will be your 10s / false 9s. And then on the right, you would have Jadon Sancho. Big up everyone from Lewis's live, man. Good to see you all. You have Jadon Sancho along with Noni Madueke. Now, yeah, it feels a bit like stockpiling. I fully understand it. Yeah, and I do think it falls down to wages, how much he's willing to take the cut of, etc., etc. 200k plus is too much for him. He's going to have to bite the bullet on the wages. Yeah. It just depends on the fee as well, right? We don't really know digits. We don't really know numbers. It's very hard for us to have an image on this deal right now. However, Raheem Sterling going the other way, him coming in. There is a way that we can utilize him within the team, in my opinion. I know some people don't feel the same. There is a way we can utilize him. Big up Jimmy Spliff in the building as well. But it's all about fees for me. Fees and wages are very important. Otherwise, I don't see this getting done, to be quite honest. There's also talks around all of this, guys, in regards to Ben Chilwell. And it's like, well, Raheem Sterling's in it. Jadon Sancho's in it. But now we're being told that Ben Chilwell is also another player that could be potentially be included in this deal as well. Dan Ashworth was in talks with Chelsea today over a sensational deal, which will see Sancho to join Chelsea and Sterling to join Man United. We already know that. That's the inclusion of what we had. But there's also another comment, which we're coming to in a second. Let's go away from that one as well. I'm just trying to highlight some of these ones for you. There's also this one, which is what I was talking about. Manchester United have held talks with Chelsea over a possible swap deal involving Raheem Sterling and Jadon Sancho, with the West London club rivals also offering Ben Chilwell to their Premier League rivals. How much is Jadon Sancho worth in the market? Can anyone confirm that to me? I'm going to go and have a look now because I need to know this. Transfer market. How much is he at the moment? Anyone know in the chat? Does anyone know in the chat what he's worth? I'm intrigued to know this. So on transfer market, It says that his current value at the moment is 30 million. His current rate at the moment is 30 million. So if we're giving him Raheem Sterling for Jadon Sancho, why are we giving him Ben Chilwell as well? Surely that's just a separate deal. That makes no sense. Unless they're going to give us a bit of money on top. So Jadon Sancho plus another 20, 30 million. So Sterling and Jadon Sancho switch plus another 20, 30 million to get Ben Chilwell as well, because they need a left back, evidently. Big up Ed Kid in the building. So no, Chilwell is not involved in the negotiations. Yeah, well, salary dump. No, listen, Jimmy, I agree. Salary dumps is for sure the big reason why we're cutting Ben Chilwell, Raheem Sterling, Romelu Lukaku, all these guys out. We fully understand that. But how does he fit in this deal? Because we're being told that we're offering Ben Chilwell has to be a complete separate deal. It's not like getting rid of Chile will hurt us. No, I'm not saying it will. But if evidently it will hurt, it will ease us up on the books, wouldn't it? It will definitely ease us up on the books. And I think that's one of the key things. And this is what it's going to go to now, because this must be a separate deal. Before we get into Victor Osimhen and Ivan Toney, which is where I want you guys in the chat to let me know what your thoughts are on that. Chelsea are also offering Ben Chilwell to Manchester United. There you go. So I'm assuming that's a separate deal. I'm assuming that's a separate deal from the Time Sport in there as well. So let's see. I think a lot's going to happen in a short space of time. That is $500,000 on salary, yeah? Yeah, I hear you, bro. Ben Chilwell and Sterling both are trash. Sancho is world class, is what Ray Allen's saying as well. Chilwell has no suitors. Guys, no deal with any clubs yet. Sounds separate. Yeah, I think it's separate as well, bro. I think it's separate as well. Nonsense, Roy. 30 minutes max. I'd pay for Sancho. 25 million plus 5 million add-ons. It won't be. It'll be. I think it's going to be a straight switch between Sterling and him. Will we probably lose out on money on what we pay for Raheem Sterling? What did we get him for? How much did we get Sterling for? Was it 50 million? How much did we get Raheem Sterling for? 47.5 million. We signed Raheem Sterling for 47.5 million, guys. 47.5 million. So we are probably going to lose out on 17 odd million if we give him for Sancho. Sancho's market value is about 30 to 35. They're probably going to say 40. So let's probably say 5 to 7 million we're going to lose out on Raheem Sterling. So it is what it is, man. We got to move forward, right, at the end of the day. So listen, I will keep you posted on that, guys. Currently at the moment, there's no more news in and around that. We need to get into the big topic. I know the one that you guys are waiting for. I'm just trying to getting some more news in on this Osimhen and Toney situation. If you bear with me. Chelsea have reached an agreement in personal terms with Victor. The club is ready to discuss with Napoli for the... Okay, interesting. Now we go on to the big thing, the big topic, the topic that everyone's wanting to hear and talk about. Ivan Toney, Victor Osimhen. Who? Because at the moment, the chat is split. It's divided. Some people are saying Ivan Toney. Some people are saying Victor Osimhen. So who and why? I want to know in the chat your thoughts and comments on why you think either or. Because at the moment, I feel like we have a split fan base here, guys. We have a split fan base on decision, and it's interesting. But we're going to start with Victor Osimhen. Now, listen, this is the first, obviously, comment we got from Fabrizio Romano earlier today, saying that he understands Chelsea and Al Ahly remain the two clubs in talks with Victor Osimhen. That's never changed. Chelsea have been on talks with him for a while. We know the situation. Al Ahly, as we know, have put a 65 million euro bid package with Napoli forward for Victor Osimhen. Chelsea are still attentive as contracts are ongoing. Separate story from Sancho. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano, it's not the same story, is it? Why would he even include Sancho in this story? It's two different things. No bid from PSG as well at the moment. So now it's Fabrizio Romano's thoughts on it. And then half an hour ago, if that, 40 minutes ago, we got this message coming from DiMarzio, who says Chelsea are willing to send their first offer to Napoli in the upcoming hours for Victor Osimhen. Hours, guys. So we could have some news tonight, late tonight, potentially. on this. And if we move away from that, I bring up CFC Pies' comments here as well. Chelsea wants to make a first official offer to Napoli and Osimhen in the next minutes/hours via DiMarzio. So is this Ivan Toney situation a smokescreen? Is it to kind of force Napoli and Victor Osimhen's hand? Shit, we're fucking around here. They're now going after someone else. We don't want him here. He doesn't want to be here. One of us needs to compromise. Yeah? Potentially. That could be part of the situation. Now, what is the real issue with the Victor Osimhen to Chelsea situation? As we've always been told, wages. Victor Osimhen, 11 million euros a year, wants to keep his wages. He doesn't want to reduce it, doesn't want to bring it down. Chelsea, on the other hand, reducing their wages, cutting the salary caps that are on there. You've seen it with Romelu Lukaku, Raheem Sterling out the door, Ben Chilwell on his way out, Kepa Arrizabalaga, who's been given a 1-year contract, but his wages are being paid by Bournemouth. And then a year after, he's probably not going to get a contract from us. All these players from 160 to 200 to 300 and plus K are all being scrapped, which is a good thing in many ways, because it's the way we're trying to maneuver in maybe establishing more the players with the number of players we have, establishing lower wages across the board probably looks prettier on the on the wages, and probably in front of PSR books as well. And we've probably been forced into having to get rid of our profit players, Chalobah, who we still got up for sale, and Gallagher. And then on top of that, the ones that are not meant to be that are on stupid wages, like Lukaku, Raheem Sterling, and all these other individuals. Who else has just tagged me in something? So if we are really sticking to the gun here, wow, interesting stuff. We're getting more Osimhen news coming out 4 minutes ago. Again, we'll go into that in a second. I've also got something else that I'm tagged in. Bear with me, guys. There's a lot going on at the moment. Trying to keep you guys up to speed, but I need you to smash the likes right now, guys. If you're not smashing the likes, what we're doing, get the likes up, guys. Get the likes up if we can. Yes, I've seen that one as well. Get the likes up if we can. Nearly 600 people in the building right now. Yeah, I hear that, Harrison. I think a lot of it is you got to take it as a pinch of salt if you're not hearing it from Ormstein or etc. Yes, Curtis, I've seen that as well. We're going to come to that in a second. So we move away from this, and then we move on to more recent comments, guys. And this is 2 comments. One from Rudy Galetti, which was not long ago. He comes out and says Chelsea have reached a general understanding on personal terms with Victor Osimhen. Don't get what that means. General understanding. Does that mean they've come to a mutual agreement? Does that mean they've met halfway? Have they agreed to... I don't know what that means. The club is ready to discuss a proposal with Napoli, which is where we were talking about now from DiMarzio. DiMarzio saying Chelsea are approaching Napoli to put an offer forward. Chelsea would not be approaching Napoli, and I'm going to say this now. Chelsea, if this is true, would not be approaching Napoli and putting a fee forward if the wages wasn't a problem. So have they now reached an agreement with Osimhen on wages? A move to Al Ali is not an option, as the terms are interested are no longer in the race. He doesn't want to go over there. He wants to stay in Europe. He's made that clear. Otherwise, he would have just accepted. Napoli's, they were happy with the fee, but he wasn't happy with it wasn't even that he was happy with the wages. He just didn't want to go there. Let's just be serious. Nothing to do with the wages. He doesn't want to go over there. But if Chelsea are going to do what we've just received 5 minutes ago, if Chelsea are doing what I'm reading here from Fraser 5 minutes ago, which is putting a fee forward, and he says here, Operation Osimhen is now underway. Chelsea are ready to go. Talks have been seen as more positive between the clubs, and the Nigerian wants to come to London. Work to do, but Chelsea ready to try. So this is why I say, we've listened, how many sagas have we been as Chelsea fans in the past? How many sagas have we been in when it comes to this kind of situation? We are experienced. We are elite when it comes to dealing with these types of situations, information coming into us. Do we believe everything we read? No, we don't. We don't believe everything we read. However, what we can do, this is what I tell you to all do in these situations, is take the best bits out of what you're reading and put it together. We see DiMarzio, and I'm going to give you an example. We see DiMarzio just now comment saying Chelsea next minutes and hours are going to approach Napoli with a fee. Okay, fair enough. Now we're being told that there's a general mutual agreement between the club and Osimhen. So to get to, like I said, to get to the stage that we are now, we must have had something must have gone on between Chelsea and Osimhen at some point. That's what I'm understanding from it. Because why would we go now going to put a fee forward for a guy if he wasn't happy with the wages? It'd be pointless. Why would you go and go, all right, we're going to give you 70 million. Okay, is he happy to go yet on the wages? No, we've not spoken to him about that yet. Because we've been in this position for nearly a month. Makes no sense to me. So there must be some sort of agreement there for us to have gone into the next phase. And when you read what Fraser's saying here now, he's saying Chelsea are on talks with on talks with the club now. Because now he supposedly wants to come to London, which I don't think's ever not been the case. I think he's wanted to come to London. So this is what I'm saying. We've got to be careful because, listen, we're being told one thing earlier on with the Ivan Toney situation. We're now being told this with Victor Osimhen. This is the way it goes. Take bits from everything you read, try and understand it and put it together and make your own images of it, guys. I'm not saying everything that we read is legit. Let me just see if something else is just coming as well. We need an Ornstein dagger. We need probably a Fabrizio Romano, something like that to probably clarify more of this. But these are some big comments from Fraser. He's putting himself out there. I'm not going to lie. He's now underway. Chelsea ready to go. Talks have been seen as more positive between the clubs, and the Nigerian wants to go to London. Work to be done. This is going to go down to the last day, guys. It's built up to go down to the last day of the window, and then loads of drama, as Chelsea have always done. This is what it feels. This is what I'm feeling from it right now. Now, yeah, it's for the last day of the market's a deal. This is definitely for that. Now, switching our attention from Victor Osimhen for a second, we're going to come back to him. Today, we were told that Chelsea had approached Ivan Toney. Chelsea have made a move to sign Ivan Toney from Brentford. Interesting is what I say on this one. Because it could just be a whole smokescreen to take your attentions away from the real target, which is probably still Victor Osimhen in this instance. But then we get other comments coming out. Ed Aarons then comes out and comments and says Chelsea have failed in a move to sign Victor Osimhen as they are not willing to match his wage demands. Now, listen, this has been the case for nearly a month. They are now expected to test Brentford's resolve on Toney by bidding significantly below the 50 million asking price. Ed Aarons comments there from Guardian Sport. Okay. Now I keep asking you guys in the chat, Ivan Toney or Victor Osimhen? What are the two differences? What are we getting from this? What are we getting from this? Well, Alex, someone I know very well, has come out with where is it? We'd help if I could see it. There we go. Has come out with this and his thoughts on Victor Osimhen.
Why hasn't anyone tried to sign Ivan Toney? He scored 20 goals in his last 4 Premier League seasons. So surely Brentford's asking price is reasonable. Well, maybe not. Here's why. Firstly, Toney is 28 years old, past the peak of an average Premier League striker, potentially entering a period of physical decline. Of course, the Englishman's game doesn't just rely on physicality, as Brentford value his back-to-goal play and ability to quickly launch counter-attacks. However, this may not translate well to more ball-dominant sides, where strikers typically play further forward, receiving passes in more crowded areas. Here, Toney could struggle, considering that his first touch can be a little loose. Still, a big club might be willing to take these risks if they felt Toney could make their attack more potent. But while he has scored 36 league goals across his last 3 seasons, 11 were from penalties, and Toney has struggled to finish above his expected goal numbers consistently. That doesn't make him a bad striker, but for an elite side, Toney might not tick enough boxes to warrant spending £50 million.
Is he a smokescreen? Is this just all a smokescreen in regards to Ivan Toney? Now, I get what Alex is saying, but then that's because we've not seen him at the top level, at the elite level, like Osimhen, who's playing in Napoli and doing his bits over there. All right, fair enough. I get all that. Maybe his numbers don't tally up to what, like he said, maybe to what level an elite team needs to see. But is he been around the creation of a team like Chelsea? Cole Palmer, João Felix, Madueke, Pedro Neto, and Kunku. Has he had them type of players around him? Does that equally, we know that that's going to bring a lot of creation options to any striker that comes to club, whether it's Victor Osimhen, whether it's Ivan Toney, whoever comes through the door are going to be surrounded by a talent of creation. And we saw Cole Palmer against Wolves the other day, 3 assists, 4 assists nearly, but 3 assists, which led to Madueke scoring a hat-trick. You have the right striker up there in the box, making them runs in any of them two, and I think they score goals. I don't think any of these two don't score goals with the creativity we have. The question is, which one of these strikers suits what we're trying to do? The profile, the manager, how he's been playing, what we've been seeing. Both physical, both very good in the air. Who has the better touch? Well, apparently to what Alex, your expert, says, Ivan Toney's touch, which is something we use against Victor Osimhen, which I've been seeing throughout the day as being the better ability, isn't maybe as good as we thought per 90. And then you look at the ages. Both looking for their last big contract, their last big move, their last big thing, right? So Ivan Toney is going to cost less than Victor Osimhen. If we can't get a deal agreed because there is still an issue with a wage or issue with the fee at the end of this, should we go into next season with no one? I don't think so. Do we look at Ivan Toney for the short term? I think we do. I think he does offer us something. I think his hold-up play is very good. I think his aerial ability is very good. I think the creation levels that we'll be creating for him, he will score goals. And evidently, we need someone that can link, allow these great wingers that we've got to run off them, a little bit like Giroud back in the day. He'll give you that sort of physical presence. That's what you'll get from Ivan Toney. So the only question mark is he a bagsman? Can he score you a ton of goals? I think he can get you double-digit goals across all competitions. I think it's also good for someone like Nicholas Jackson to have around him, again, someone that's experienced on the older side of it, you can learn from. These are all things that are good. When you look at it from a personality eyes, I can't really answer that because I don't really know Victor Osimhen's personality. We all know that Ivan Toney's got a bit of a funny personality anyway. We've seen that and we've heard that. But that doesn't change the fact that he wouldn't be good for what we want at this football club. So Brian's saying Ivan Toney. He still feels that Ivan Toney's better. And then we go to some other of the, creators across online and people like Matisse, who he says, Toney over Osimhen, the link up to match the finishing, direct free kick threat, knows the Premier League inside and out, and can hit 20 league goals with the service and setup we have around him. He's at a perfect age, and he's not liked, and neither are we. So bring him. True. 2 people that are not really liked coming together. Yeah, I hear it. I hear what he's saying there. Just looking at some stats here for him. Just having a look at some stats here for him. There's some old stats, man. They are some old stats, guys. I can't even show you them stats. They're 22-23. 22-23. What the hell? Yeah, that sucks. Whereas I would like to have actually looked at that. That'd have been interesting. Anyway, so that's his faults. That's his faults on it. Big up, Thompson. Good to see you. How are you, man? Do you want Osimhen Toney? People get asking me this, and I'm not sitting on the corner here when it comes to this. I will give you an answer. My answer is straight and very clear when it comes to this whole saga between Toney and Osimhen, which is dividing the fan base, by the way, at the moment. If we can get Osimhen to drop his wages and get Napoli to agree a fee, which they've already agreed to remove the release clause in this situation, and I'm talking about 65 million, 70 million top wax, maybe a bit of add-ons, I would say go for Victor Osimhen. My only worries about him is I don't know. I mean, he looks like he's ready for the Premier League. He's physical. He's built for it. I just don't know how he fits in what we're doing. That's my only question mark still with him. I think he will score goals. He'll be a fox in the box. We'll whip balls in. He'll get on the end of them. We miss all that. You know, someone that can just turn something into nothing in a goal, important. And that's why I'm very yes to the idea. But then I look at Ivan Toney, and I've always been quite a fan of his game. And I like how he plays the game. He's very confident in himself, a bit like Osimhen, both are very confident in himself. You know, good penalty taker, good free kick taker, good aerially. However, I do think between the two players, there's one big thing. Two big things. One, he's Premier League proven. Two, I think his all-round game is more established. Not saying better, but more established to fit what we're doing. And that might just be purely to do on the fact that I've seen Ivan Toney more than Victor Osimhen. So I'm a little bit like this with it. Because if we get Victor Osimhen, I get it. I understand it. And he will come and he will score goals. He'll do his thing. His all-round game I'm going to watch. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to see. Okay, let's see how he fits what we're doing. And I'll be up to watching that. But you're going to spend that money. You're going to want it. He's going to have to perform, guys. There's going to be that question mark. Yeah? So relevant to who we get here. Any of them have got to perform. But for Victor Osimhen coming to the Premier League, there's going to be pressure. We've seen it with Romelu Lukaku. We've seen it with Alvaro Morata. We've seen it with all of these Chelsea strikers that have came here from abroad, from Europe, across, and the adaptation to the Premier League. It's not been easy. It's not easy. In fact, the hardest place to be a striker at any Premier League team is Chelsea Football Club. So there will be that additional extra pressure on him because with Ivan Toney, I think it will be for a lesser deal with wages. By the way, he takes 20 grand a week. People forget this. He takes £20,000 a week from Brentford. We could quadruple his wages and give him 80k and he would fit what the board want. And that's the big key in all of this. This is where I'm a bit like, I still think our target's Victor Osimhen. But when I look at the model and what we're trying to do and how we could probably get a striker in, a worst case scenario that we cannot get a deal with Victor Osimhen, Ivan Toney fits the bill. Pay him 4 times his money, give him 80k a week rather than 20, stick him on a 3-4 year contract, maybe more, whatever. It's going to be his last big contract, and he becomes your short-term play. He becomes your short-term option, and you just stick with him. You know, I'm not saying he's one and only striker, but he will give us something more that we haven't got at the moment, and that's the truth. He will come in and he will do stuff at this club. I have no doubts on that of Ivan Toney for a cheaper fee and less wages. But the long-term vision of this club, what most of the, I'm going to say even most, what the other half of the fan base want is this, European dynamite. Probably when you look at the striker market, the one that's available, who's at the top of the list, Victor Osimhen, goals, the background in regards to the Drogbas and the Mikkels and him coming across that sort of, presence that he will bring, and goals. And he's very good at doing that. And I get it. It's just they still feel there's going to be a lot more pressure on someone like Victor Osimhen than there will be on Ivan Toney, even though there will still be a pressure on Ivan Toney. But the pressure to perform in the Premier League and be able to score double-digit goals straight away and have an impact. It's going to be pressure. But this is what the best strikers do in the world. And if he's one of the best strikers, and we believe that, and use the guys that want him at the club, believe he's that, then he needs to come here. He needs to cut his wages if we want him to. He needs to come here and he needs to play and show it in the Premier League. That's what he needs to do. But I'm not fucking around. We shouldn't be fucking around. We need to get to the point now where it's, are we going to get a deal with Osimhen or not? Because if you're not negotiating with us, or we can't negotiate, then we're not going to just sit and wait. Ivan Toney. And we'll get him. I'm telling you now, if that's what they've gone and done, we will go and get Ivan Toney. That's the real twist in all this. So I'm not swung both ways, really. Like, I get it. I think I think Osimhen is the guy. I think that's who we want. That is for sure the confirmation. But let's not muck around. Like, if we can't, who fits the whole wage bill, the structure, and everything that we're trying to do, barring the age, because he is over the age of 24, Ivan Toney. And Sky Cavish comes in here and says, Chelsea are not interested in signing players who are going to earn 200 to 300k a week. Well, what are we doing then? If that's the case, what are we doing? We're trying to get Victor Osimhen down for 150k a week? It's not going to happen. The average wage of their new signings is between 60,000 a week and 70,000 a week. That is the base wage before you add in bonuses. I think there is a feeling that Ivan Toney is willing to fit into the wage structure. What I just said. Also, he's coming from a club like Brentford who are not famed for paying massive wages. 20,000 a week he's on, guys. The guy is on 20,000 a week. Like, do you get what I mean? He's on 20,000 a week. You can literally give him quadruple the money that he's on, and he'd be on 80,000, and he'd be happy. He'd be happy. Ivan Toney on 80,000 a week at Chelsea. You know? However, all of the recent news that we've just got coming out in the last hour, Chelsea putting a fee forward for Victor Osimhen. Next, it could be the next minutes, next hours, we're approaching them. Tells me, and I keep saying this, that we must have come to some sort of a general agreement with Victor Osimhen on his wage. Because there's no way we're going forward and putting a fee forward. It's just not happening. I don't get that. Why would we go and put a fee down for Victor Osimhen now to Napoli, first offer, if we've not agreed the wages? So this might be a smokescreen. Don't get me wrong. I still think Victor Osimhen's the main target. But would I be disappointed at the idea of Ivan Toney coming to the club? No, to be quite honest with you. No. And on the back of that, I want to get the boys in. I want to hear what the boys have got to say. We've done 45 minutes of talking. I want to keep you updated. Couch, go into the WhatsApp group. Get yourself in here, brother. Everyone else that's watching, that's in the panel, guys, get yourself in the WhatsApp group. The link is about to be dropped. There we go. Link, guys, and in the meantime, we've got 700 people in the building. 700 people currently in the building right now, guys. Please smash the likes. And also do me one other favor at the end of the show, guys. After you've watched this, go to the clip on Chelsea Fan TV just before this one. It's called Jim and Chelsea. Jim and Chelsea. Go and watch me, Alex, and everyone else over there. Everyone's over there on, it's just a half an hour show talking about Chelsea in the gym. It's funny. You get to watch me try and do some workouts, which is quite funny. So make sure you go over there and comment on there after, guys. It's literally on. It's the show below the one that we're on currently right now. So make sure you watch that in a second. Pious tweet. Okay. Interesting. We have a pious tweet, guys. We have a pious tweet. We have a pious tweet. Is this one? Sancho latest. Chelsea want to include Sterling in the deal up to Man United. Juventus in talks over loan with buy clause. Okay. That ain't any real different to what we already know. So Fabrizio Romano's just recycling other people's news right now. The Times, Daily Mail and everyone else. We know Sterling in a swap deal for Sancho is what we've been told, and now it's just been confirmed from Fabrizio Romano, guys. So I think we're getting both Sancho and Osimhen. Egbali is a madman. What we're hearing here. We do have couch critic, the man, the myth, the legend in the building. We have Callie, the King Callie, who we've not seen as well in the building. But we're going to go to couch first on this one before we get to the Osimhen and the Toney saga. Welcome in. Good to see you as always.
Yes, King. How you doing? You can hear me all right?
We can hear you, mate. We can hear you. What is your thought on this news and around the potentials of a swap deal for Sancho and Sterling?
This is all just media day, transfer deadline day fodder. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Zero. Like, how many people do Chelsea have to get out of the club and are struggling to do that? And they're thinking about doing it a swap deal to bring in a guy that is on crazy wages. For what purpose? The reason we were sold as to why they want to get rid of Raheem Sterling is because he doesn't fit within the wage bill. He's not, he's certainly not at the, obviously the peak of his career right now in terms of what he's giving you. But you're swapping one problem for the other. Like, Maresca came out in his presser and says, Raheem Sterling's going to struggle for minutes. So you're going to bring in another guy? Like, what are we doing here? Like, those minutes the minutes that aren't available to Raheem Sterling right now are going to automatically, miraculously going to be available to Sancho. This makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. This is basically.
Do you think Sancho would suit the profile of what we're doing at the moment? Like, if he was to come at Chelsea, do you see him fitting in what we're doing currently and what you're seeing with Maresca?
Yeah, he's a decent winger from what I saw from him in Dortmund and whatnot. But but it's still just down to the fact that we have so many players in those areas already, and we've invested a lot in them. Like, if you're going to tell me that maybe Mudryk would be out the door like permanently, then maybe you might get me to say, okay, yeah, that's a scenario where we might have to entertain bringing in somebody else. But on current right now, Mudryk's going to be very, very hard to move. And Chelsea are already at the threshold in terms of like players that they have to get rid of, and then also find loan moves, permanent moves for it. Like, it's not the right time and place to be talking about bringing in another winger when we have so many at the club as is. It's just not the right time.
Well, if he takes a wage cut, is it worth it? Because he's on 250k a week. I get the whole switching in for Sterling, who's on 300k, and bringing in a Sancho for 250. That don't make sense. But if they're both willing to take pay cuts both sides and come over and do a 5-year deal in the club,
where are the minutes? Where are the minutes coming from?
Well, I've told you this. I feel, and I've sectioned it. I've told you this, and we had this conversation earlier. Mm-hmm. I feel that him and Madueke would be off the right. I feel that between the false 9 and 10 areas, you would have Palmer and Kunku and Felix. And on the left, you have Neto and Mudryk.
And you don't think that that's like a lot of players for, 3 positions?
Not really, because I like competition.
Really? Yeah, but like,
I'm a big fan of competition.
Let's just say this. Let's just say this right now, and let's be real about it, okay? When Maresca settles on his 11, there's going to be 60 to 70% of the games are going to be held down by the preferred 11. No doubt about it. And then the rest of the games are going to be, the cup games here and there and like the conference. Those aren't a lot of games. The preferred 11 is going to be getting most of the minutes. And then everything else is going to be a fight to get minutes everywhere else. So when you say, yeah, you can see him on the right, and like Neto can play on the right, Palmer can play on the right. Sorry?
I mean, they can all do it.
Couch.
No.
Sancho has that versatile option in himself.
No, but Neto's actually giving you strong minutes on the right, though. You know what I mean? Like, he's played there and done that well.
He'll give you stronger minutes on the left, though, wouldn't he? At the moment, let's be serious.
It's not about that, though. It's like he's got a role at the club already, right? Where he can play left and right, and he gives us versatility. I don't see how you could, because then now what you're doing is you're bringing in another guy for another position. You're taking away the option of using your versatility the right way.
What about injuries as well? That's the other.
Okay, so you don't make a signing like this because you're worried about injuries, though. You have enough pieces already.
it's not being worried about injuries, but it's also the fact that our history of injuries is not good in 3 years. We can't ignore
Well,
it.
you're not denying it's definitely not a fact. It's definitely a factor, but like you can't make a sign based on the fact that you think you're going to be injured.
No, I hear that, but it could be part of like an evaluation as to why you think that, not like the main reason.
If we get rid of Mudryk, and we drop Sancho on lower wages, it's a good move. If Sancho comes on his high wages and we keep Mudryk, it's a stupid move. Let's just call it what it is.
Callie, what's your thoughts on the whole situation as well? Tell us, like, what's your thoughts?
I'm just for improving the squad in the areas that need the most attention. So Sancho's not needed. That's the reality. If he drops his wages, cool. If he also swaps Sterling and Chilwell for it, that's part of the thing for me. Like, we have to be getting rid of players for us to even be considering bringing other players, and bringing another winger when we have this many wingers at the club does not make any sense. Furthermore, if you get rid of Mudryk, then I'll say completely, like, I'm gung-ho, like, bring me Sancho. But if you don't get rid of Mudryk, then I'm with Couch. And if his wages aren't going to drop, you're breaking our model. Why would we give Sancho the 200K plus when we have so many other players that technically deserve it? I give Cole Palmer.
Hold on, Kelly. Hold on, Kelly, man. You can't be talking. You can't just be talking of a drop top like that with palm trees in the back like that. You can't just be talking like that. He's even got the shades on. Look at him.
He's living life, isn't he? Look at him.
Cali living. That's actually Cali living, bro. Where are you?
Real.
Miami or something, bro.
It's crazy how you know where I am, dog. Stop putting my location out there. I'm in London. I'm in London right now. That's where I'm at.
Carry on, bro. Carry on. Sorry, bro.
No. But real talk. And then, Don, you can segue off of me. Like, Couch, because me and Couch are having that conversation in the chat. And, I mean, all of Couch's points are logical, man. Like, we don't need a winger, guys. Like, I'm not saying Sancho's not a good player. We don't need a winger. And if you're going to bring another winger for depth or the argument for injuries and stuff, then you got to get rid of wingers. And if you're not getting rid of wingers, what are we doing here?
His position as well, Callie, for me. Like, Sancho will play off the right, and Madueke is, in theory, the only one we got out there. So why can't you have Madueke? I keep saying it. Madueke, Sancho, Palmer, Sterling, and Felix for false 9 and 10, and fucking Neto and Mudryk as your left. I don't really get
Sterling.
Like,
hold on. You just,
that's a lot.
You just said Sterling.
I think he meant Nkunku.
Yeah, he meant Nkunku.
Nkunku, okay, yeah.
Nkunku,
No,
Palmer, and
that's
Felix
the best
in
way.
your 10 and 9. And then having the wings of Neto and Mudryk.
Wait, can I ask a quick question? When Chilwell and Sterling are out of the club, who makes the highest out of everyone so far? Like, what is the highest?
Wesley Fofana.
I think it's Fofana. It'll be Fofana because he got the contract before these new guys came in. Yeah, let me give my take before I pop out because I'll go pop out in a bit. Yeah, bro, listen, everyone's got fair takes. Like what Couch is saying, what Callie's saying. I've been saying the same, bro. We don't need Sancho right now. Technically, we don't need him because of the options that we've got. But when you break it down in terms of the right side of our attack, like Jem's saying, we don't have another right winger in the team away from Neto and Madueke, bro. And if we start Neto on the left and we start Madueke on the right and we start Palmer down the middle, that means that off the bench you haven't got an option that can come on for Madueke because Felix ain't a right winger, right? For me, he's barely even a left winger, let alone a right winger. Nkunku definitely isn't a right winger. And Mudryk is definitely not a right winger either. We've seen him a couple of times there, and it fucking reeks, right? So bringing Sancho in, as much as yes, we don't need him, we could work without him. It just gives us more balance on that side. Because for me, his best time at Dortmund came when he was playing on the right. And when he started playing on the left for United, I didn't like it, bro. I really hated it, yeah. Because for me, every time I see this guy cooking, you play on the right hand side, right? And that's a good player to have in a squad. Because if you start Madueke, who's running at someone. You might bring on Sancho to finish the game against tired legs. He might do better than starting the game, for example, because, listen, in the Prem, we know he's not that explosive. Yeah, Madueke is a lot better when it comes to just taking on his man. And in certain games, you might want to start Sancho there and then bring Madueke off the bench. We know Madueke's had a few injuries before he came to Chelsea. A lot of them are like muscle-related and whatnot. And if you're explosive as Madueke, bro, you don't want him to be playing every single game, every single minute, because you'll start to pick things up. You want to make sure that you're preserving him as much as you can. So if we drop Madueke for a game and you start Sancho, no one's complaining, bro, as long as he's performing.
Yeah, but
right?
what about the option of having Neto play on the wing? We're talking about versatility when we signed him.
That's
like he
that's
can
what
play
I'm
there.
saying, though, Coach. That's what I'm saying. Neto can play there, but what I'm saying is if Neto starts in this team, because right now Neto starts in the team and Madueke starts in the team. If you start both of them together, Couch, Neto's not on the bench. But if Neto's on the bench, then you can bring him on the right. But I reckon we're gonna use him more on the left because we haven't got that quality on the left right now, bro. Apart from him.
But you can easily just switch him to the right if somebody comes on on the left, or it's not hard to do. Teams do it all the time.
Wait, say that again, bro. You broke up.
Sorry, you could easily just switch him to the right if you're making a substitution, and you bring somebody on to the left. Like your options don't change just because he's on the pitch.
Yeah, but bro, Neto most likely won't be playing 90 minutes, and we don't need to be playing him for 90 minutes. We've got a big squad, right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about, the quality. You want to be able to trust whoever's coming off the bench to be able to do something like we did against Wolves, right? I don't want to be, bro. I've got PTSD, bro. I want to treat these guys as if they're newborn. Yeah, you know, with a newborn, you're carrying a newborn. You want to make sure that you're not hurting their head, you're not hurting their legs, you're not hurting nothing about them. That's what I want to do with these guys. I want to make sure they're taken care of because I don't want to be looking back at the season and thinking, fucking hell, if we had Neto for the past 3 months, we'll be doing this. If we had Nkuku for the past 3 months,
it's
could have been this.
I don't want that. The manager has to be able to.
I don't want that problem again.
Yeah, but we also need competition on the pitch.
Couch. Your solution was, if anyone needs to come off on the right, you just change Neto from the left to the right. But what I'm saying,
or you put Palmer. I don't want Neto. Like there's not like we don't have any options on the right though.
Yeah,
like
but
Palmer could easily play on the right.
Bro, you're not listening to what I'm saying, bro. Palmer, like I said, we've got a big squad and we've got a lot of games. Yeah. Palmer, as much as he's our best player. Bro, you need to use the squad. You need to rotate the squad so everyone can maintain fitness and minimum injury, right? Bring in what's the harm, for example, in taking off a Palmer, bringing on another midfielder for Palmer's position, because for me he's best down the middle, and bringing on an actual right winger, right? Like a Sancho to come on, or like a Madueke to come on. I would rather that, bro, because that way you're keeping the team fit. I've seen how Pep has dominated, bro. Pep has dominated from using his team well and rotating, bro. That's why they call it Pep Roulette. Most of the time, most people don't pick Man City players because they don't know who's going to start. And that's what we need in our team, bro. We need to be unpredictable and we need to manage everyone's minutes well, bro.
Yeah, I just don't think that this is the time to do it. And the mechanism to get it done is not very economical either. Like you're saying that you want to get rid of Sterling because Sterling doesn't fit with the team and his wages are way too high. Then you're going to go get another guy that has not fit with any team in England and who is also on high wages as well. So then we're talking about like maybe, okay, well, if he brings his wages down, then maybe we can make him fit. But, these are all if buts. You know what I mean? To be honest with you guys, like we can entertain this as much as we want. Let me just finish because I just want to say this. I don't think for a second, half of a second, that this is even close to even happening. I'm just going to be real. I don't think it's going to happen at all. But we can entertain this conversation just for the interest of it.
We'll see.
Just let me just say something on that as well before you come in, Jim. Yeah, just one last thing, bro. Yeah, I do think it's going to happen. In my opinion, I was saying that it's not before when I saw the little phrase on the Athletic. But bro, if you think about it this way, this deal works out better for United because if they send him to Juve, they're not going to get a player in return. Right? If we get Jadon Sancho, that means they've agreed to taking Sterling, right? And right now, Sterling, as much as I don't think isn't the same player, he's still good enough to play in the league, whether that's off the bench or you might want to start him certain games or whatever. He should be able to do something for them, right? So that's going to be quite beneficial to them. But with Jadon Sancho, bro, yeah, I knew from day one, Couch, he was never going to work at United, bro. They had no plan for the guy, right? He had fucking Oli as the manager. Right, I'm looking at that squad. They already sold Pogba a dream. They said to Pogba, "We're gonna build around you." They didn't do fuck all around him. Right, that wasn't gonna be a good move for him. I said it from day one because I really liked Sancho when he was at Dortmund. But I'm looking at our team. He's gonna love playing with the likes of Neto, the likes of Felix, the likes of Palmer, because all these man are cage ballers, bro. That's what I refer to them as. They're very technical players, and that's what Sancho wants to do. Sancho's never gonna be a winger that runs past one like Madueke. Sancho likes to. He'll go towards the defender. Before you tackle him, he'll probably skip past you, pop it off, run into the space, whip it in. That's what he does. That's what he's really good at, right? And at Dortmund, he used to create a lot of chances for Haaland, bro. A lot of those goals that Haaland used to score were from Jadon Sancho creating for him, bro. And he used to score as well, right? So I don't think Sancho is finished because we haven't seen the Sancho of old at Man United. I just don't think that team suited how he wants to play. I can honestly see Sancho working. The only issue is we don't really need him. But I can't look at the player and be pissed off at the fact that we don't need him. So now I don't rate him anymore, bro. I still rate him, bro, and I think he'll work for us.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's move away from Sancho because the big talking point is this. So, and I really want to quickly get your thoughts on this one. It's the situation between Victor Osimhen and Ivan Toney. Well, I've said a lot on it already. I'm quite intrigued to hear what Callie has to say on this first, actually, between the two strikers. I mean, lots of talks around Osimhen and his wages being an issue. We've been told now, Callie, that Chelsea are going to put a fee forward within minutes to an hour. That's what we've been told by DiMarzio. And then we're being told earlier on that Chelsea are looking to approach Ivan Toney as an option. He's only on 20k a week. You give him 4 times the wages. He could be on 80k. He fits the structure of what Chelsea are trying to do, etc. I mean, what's your thoughts on this, mate?
So let's do the reality conversation, not the hypotheticals here, which you said nothing but what's happening. I'm just going to keep it consistent. So essentially, Toney would be less money. And if Toney was less money, then Osimhen himself is going to be worth more money. That's simple. Let's keep that very simple. Yeah. Now, who do you think has more Prem experience?
Ivan Toney.
I mean, this is very basic. Ivan Toney. So if we're going based on Prem experience, you say Ivan Toney. Now, the question is, who will fit the system better? And this is where the debate is going to happen. Because where Tony's strengths lie, you've seen at Brentford in his ability to link up play and then finish those chances. Osimhen's strength, I know people are questioning his general play, his off the ball work. But I know for a fact he'll finish at Chelsea in the system. So for me, I'm gonna be so real with you. I don't care. Just bring me one of them. I'm gonna be so honest. But if I had to pick, I'm gonna be a little bit more biased towards Prem experience. So I'm hoping Tony's mindset is still in the game and that he still has the love of the sport. Because if not, then it's Osimhen all day. It's really about if Toney is there mentally and physically, he gets his fitness together, then I would say Toney. But if his mental or his fitness is off, it's Osimhen without hesitation. We have to stop joking around. We need a striker.
Facts. I hear you. Couch, your response to that?
Yes, a lot of good things said by Callie there, and kind of agree with most of it too, to be honest. Obviously, for me, it's about a striker room, and I've been saying this for I can't tell you how long. You have to have a guy that fits a particular profile, and then have somebody as an option that gives you something different. So for me, it's not about having somebody that's going to be playing 90% of the games. I think for me, it's about having somebody that can give you, first of all, push Jackson, because I don't think that Jackson just gets thrown by the wayside because you get a Toney or an Osimhen. He's still going to play. His link-up play against the Wolves last game was exceptional, and he's obviously still improving. So I want somebody that can push Jackson, and I also want somebody that gives us something different to what Jackson has, because as much as we say we need a striker, we do, but at the same time, we don't necessarily need goals. I think we need a variety of goals, because we'll score plenty. We're going to score plenty with what we have right now. There's no doubt about it. It's just the kind of goals that you're going to be able to score with the particular profile striker that you're going to bring in. So for me, when I look at what you get from Osimhen aerially, I think he's superior to Toney aerially. My personal opinion. I think that that's his number one strength, to be honest. When you're looking at just somebody that can just carve out space in the box and finish, they're similar. They're both pretty similar, but I would probably say maybe Toney is a little bit more, I don't know. I feel like he just comes to life in the box a little bit more, so you might want to use him for that. Like in tight situations, obviously his touch is not the greatest, but you can also make that same argument for Osimhen. His touch is not the greatest. So somebody that is able to carve out space and has done it before in the Premier League, I'd probably say I'd give Toney the nod there. When you look at the overall package, I'm looking at, okay, so what is this guy going to cost us? If we're talking about equal money, then I'm taking Osimhen, just because I think that Osimhen is younger and has more to prove. Like, I feel like with Tony, you're getting a little bit more baggage, and he's obviously a guy that's been through many Premier League wars, whereas I don't think that Osimhen has been battling on the same level when he's playing in Serie A, so he might have some more mileage on his legs, even despite the fact that he's 2-3 years younger. So if we get either, as long as the price is right, I'm okay with it. But it's really about the striker room more so than just getting an A1 striker at this point in time.
I think they both bring experience as well, and that's equally key in this. I think Jackson needs someone with that sort of experience to just sort of fall onto, but like to pick up from and learn from. And I think he could learn so much more from any of these two, really. I just think the difference for me, I'm not too fussed on. I'm like you. I'm not too fussed on who at these two. I just think that when you look at it from a wages standpoint, Ivan Toney on 20k a week, quadruple it's 80k. It works from the structural side of things from Chelsea. How we want to do things with Victor Osimhen. It's just about compromising, and Napoli compromising about getting him for the right fee. And that's where the DiMarzio thing's interesting, because he says we're going to put a fee in, we're going to put our first bid in, which tells me he wouldn't have done that unless we would have agreed something with Osimhen on wages, because they wouldn't go and start talking to the club straight away. So I don't know. I mean, Don, how do you feel about this, mate? How do you feel about this situation? Because it's an interesting one, isn't it? They've both got their pros, I think, and some and the cons, really, to be fair. So
yeah, man, bro. If you remember last summer, I said for me, I prefer Tony because I think he's like a diluted version of Kane, and he's better than Osimhen on the ball. But in the box, bro, Osimhen is definitely better than Tony in the box. And I think aerially as well, he offers a threat in the air, which, to be fair, Tony's quite tall. I don't really know how good he is in the air, to be fair. But what I do know about Osimhen, he's very good in the air, bro. He gives us something different. And when I'm looking at the likes of Neto, the likes of Palmer, if we get Sancho in the team, Madueke, these guys just whipping in balls, right? That's going to be dangerous. That's going to give us something different against, low blocks, or when it's up against tight scorelines when we're playing the big teams. You know what I'm trying to say? So, bro, the more I think about it long term, I would prefer Osimhen, to be fair. There's just something in my head that's telling me Tony's not going to last more than 2 years, in my opinion. I think Osimhen would be more of a longer term signing. It's not to say that if we brought in Tony, I'll be pissed off, because he's better than what we've got and I still rate him. But I just think in the foreseeable future, we're going to get more out of Osimhen than what we're going to get from Tony. I don't really see Tony improving much, but I can see Osimhen becoming world class, if that makes sense. I don't think we're going to see any more.
Does he not just come in, Tony, and improve us just with his abilities?
No, he does.
To improve. Does that make sense? Because I feel like we're going to create a lot for both of these guys, So
yeah, I think
no,
what it is, Jem. You're right. He is definitely going to improve us. He is, right. But I'm talking about them as individuals and what they can, where they can go, where next can they go in their career? Sorry, and I think Osimhen, I think he's just got more strings to his bow, man, in terms of what we're looking for at the minute. Running in behind, the pace, like I said, aerially. Bro, imagine Osimhen running up against these Wolves defenders the other day. It's peak. You know what I'm trying to say? I was at Brentford away last year, and I can't lie, Tony ain't the quickest, bro. I'm not saying slow, but Victor Osimhen is definitely quicker than him. Definitely quicker than him, bro. So the more I've been thinking about it, listen, like I said, beggars can't be choosers. I'll take either, but I'm more for Osimhen right now. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm more for him right now. I'll be real. I don't think it's not as bad. It's not as bad as what people say on the ball as well. If you actually watch his games, right, the way he links up is actually quite good. To be honest, I was quite impressed with what I was watching. It's not like he gets the ball like Omarodi and it just bounces off him all the time. It's really not. It's really not like that. Sometimes he does have an off touch here and there, but more time he's controlling the ball and flicking it and trying to do what Jackson does. He does a lot of flicks around the corner. That's one thing that I noticed about him. So. Yeah, man. The more I think about it, I'm just thinking more Victor than Tony, man. But I won't.
My only worry with Osimhen and Jackson is just AFCON, because once they're both gone, what are we doing for 2-3 months? They both go. So who's
AFCON again?
Yeah,
is AFCON
I'm just saying.
Happening this summer?
Huh? Is it 2025? Is it next year? It's every 2 years, isn't it? Isn't it AFCON?
It just went. And during that period, which we should have covered during that time, bro. Like we've got enough players that can play up there. The likes of Jackson, for example. Like if Jackson comes in and plays Wow, Oshi, he's going to be on AFCON as well, isn't it? Fucking hell.
I'm saying
yeah.
it's
I know, but we can't turn down Osimhen.
It's that striker's gone. Like, it's a whole striker situation.
It's like 2 or 3 games. So like, let's just be real here. We're not talking about like 3 months.
Yeah, but it's a month of football out the window. I think it's January.
I'm sure we're talking about false nines, and we can figure that out. That's not a worry.
I'm sure we can figure that out. We've actually got, because before, what happened last time, Jem, when Jackson went AFCON, we had Cole Palmer playing as the 9 because Broja couldn't fucking run. Yeah, so we had Cole Palmer playing as a 9. Now you've got the likes of Felix, you've got Nkuku, as much as I don't like him up there, who can do something at least. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think we're covered in that area, man.
Fairs. I mean, look, I'm not, like I said, I think we were on the same page for once. This is amazing. I thought we'd all got a different opinion on this. We're all saying the same thing. We're all saying we don't mind any of them, really. It's just, it has fee-wise, it has to be right. Structurally, it has to be right. And they both bring something. Listen, longevity comes from Osimhen. We know that. In terms of Premier League proven, maybe overall ability, probably Toney, I'd say, still just a bit more than Osimhen at the moment. But for me, the big thing, and I know Couch mentioned something earlier. He said, "Did you say, Couch, it's not really about goal, about us scoring goals, wasn't it? It was type of goals."
Yeah, it's the types of, we're going to score goals.
Yeah.
There's no questions about it. Like the squad that we have currently is going to score goals. It's just whether or not we have the variety of goals, the ability to, dominate teams in the air, the ability to like make those near post runs and those flicks and whatnot. I don't think that we have anyone that's doing that yet. And any one of those strikers that we bring in will be able to do that. I just think that if you're talking about aerial dominance and whatnot, you're going to get more from Osimhen as far as I'm concerned. But the ability to make those runs, those near post runs and whatnot, I just think Toney has more box savvy, if that makes sense. I just feel like he's worked in the Premier League for long enough. He knows where the spaces are. And he's the kind of guy that I think will be more, when you look at even like, it's not that Osimhen's bad at it, but it's the difference between how you look at a box in Italy and how you look at a box in the Premier League, completely different. So me seeing what you can get from Osimhen makes me feel like he might be more adept at like being a box presence in the Premier League for us than say Osimhen. But again, it's fine margins at this point. We're talking about like they're both pretty comparable.
Let's go through a comparison. There's a little thread here which is interesting in around Toney and Osimhen. It says Ivan Toney and Osimhen are both Toney strikers with unique strengths. Osimhen is known for his speed, skill on the ball, and ability to score goals, making him a top target for Chelsea. On the other hand, Toney is a physical striker. That's what he's put here. Then he goes on to say a strong aerial presence and a knack for scoring goals. Is that about who? One of two. Down to the team's needs and preferences. Looking for a speedy, skilled player who can score goals. Osimhen might be the choice if you prefer a striker with strong aerial presence than Toney. Both similar, right? I don't know what he means by that. If you prefer a physical, looking for a speedy, skilled player who can score goals, Osimhen might be the choice. If you prefer a physical striker with a strong aerial presence, Toney. Both similar, right? Oh, he's saying that they're just two differences in the way that they're profiled. So he reckons that Toney's just more of a physical striker with stronger aerial presence than Osimhen, which is interesting. And he thinks Osimhen's more speedy and skilled, who can score who will score probably more array of different type of goals in the box, which is weird. But yeah, that was a weird analogy. I thought it was a better. I thought it was a better thread. Should have read it before, but listen, I don't know. All I want is us to get a striker. End of. I've been saying it. I want a third striker. I want them in. I'll be happy if it's any of these two. I think, I've made it very clear that we have to do it for the right amount. The wages is going to be key with Osimhen. Can we negotiate and agree that time will tell? I think we'll have an answer, and obviously we're going to have to get an answer in the next couple of days because deadline day is around the corner. But Chelsea could make another 2 signings, and we could still ultimately see Chilwell go. Kepa's just gone. Sterling go. Chalobah's still not gone yet. There's still a number of players that they've got a lot of work to do in a short space of time. So I hope they're going to be working overtime over this period to get it done. Toney all-round game is good in the box. People trying to say we don't need a striker after one performance. Okay, Sean. It was a good performance. And do you know what? that's where we can quickly finish off and lead on, because we didn't get to do an actual match preview, a match reaction to the Wolves game. Listen, I was quite impressed with the second half performance. It was a tale of two halves. For the first half, we were very poor individual performances system-wise, but the second half, we really, really stepped it up, and it was fluent. It was good one-touch football. It was just nice. It was, we really just dealt with them. And whether that came from Maresca and his words, or they just looked at each other and went, we need to sort ourselves out. We're better than this. I don't know. Whatever it was, it worked. And we just saw a very good away performance against a team that we've struggled against for a number of years. And that is a good thing to see. We have a run of games coming up all the way up to Liverpool. I think there's 4 or 5 games where we should be winning them. And I want us to use the Servette game on Thursday as another game to kick on, keep scoring goals, 4 or 5 goals if they can, keep the momentum and keep taking that momentum into the next games. Couch, well, I mean, we spoke partially about the game with the Wolves game. I mean, what was your analogy on both the halves for you? How do you think it? How impressed was you with the differences of the first and second half, basically?
Yeah, I think it was first half. This came down to a lot of individual errors, uncharacteristic errors, and we didn't necessarily get punished for the amount of them that we made, but it definitely destabilized the team. It made it difficult to just keep coming at them wave after wave. So every time we score a goal, we make a mistake, they score one back. When we're trying to gain like some sort of foothold in the match and whatnot, take it by the scruff of the neck, we're making mistakes, giving away the ball, and all that just disrupts the continuity, right? And the ability to really put them to the sword. And then I just felt like in the second half, like I'm speaking very much macro rather than micro, because we can certainly get into the finer points, but like in the second half, I just felt like we eliminated all the mistakes, and we were able to show them that our top players, our best players, are top players, and they just can't live with us when those guys are playing at the level that we expect them to play at week in, week out. It just felt like in the first half we were a little bit we just weren't switched on. We weren't really ready to meet the intensity and energy of the game, some of the players. And in the second half, I felt like we came out and we finally met the energy and the tempo and were able to dominate them.
Yeah, I hear that and I agree with you, to be quite honest with you. It was a very good performance, one that we deserved. And I keep saying that word. Obviously, I was on the Jim Chelsea show. Guys, make sure you check that out. It's literally on Chelsea Fan TV below this live. Go and give it a like as well. But Don, good performances all round from the attackers in the second half. The midfield, Caicedo, a little bit shaky in the first. Defence not looking great again. I mean, is that all going to change for you? Do you think a bit of chemistry, a bit more games with like Colwell and Fofana and maybe Caicedo, and we'll see more of a consistent performance? Do you think?
100%, bro. 100%. Yeah. I know people don't like, Colwell. They haven't been, liking what they've been seeing from him. But bro, I don't think it's as bad as what we've been seeing. I know defensively he can definitely improve, but a big thing that I've been saying, Jem, that people like to forget is actually building chemistry from the back. Yeah. And so far, from what I've seen from Fofana and Colwell the past 2 games, it looks like they're now learning how to play together, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? Can you not hear me? It's breaking up.
Yeah.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. We can hear you. It's breaking up on my side. So yeah, I was just saying, that it looks like they're starting to build a bit of chemistry so they can clearly understand each other. Because like I keep telling you, all the teams that we're trying to, compete with, Arsenal and all these lot, they have the same pairing every single week, bro. Right? If you keep chopping and changing from the back, it's never going to help. You know what I'm trying to say? So I like the fact that Colwell had a very good game the other day. That's going to give him a lot of confidence. On the ball, that's his best trait, to be honest with you, because defensively, he can improve a lot. But on the ball, bro, in the system, the way he just punches it in between the lines, it's dangerous, and he started a lot of our attacks as well, right? And the quality, bro, the quality in front of goal, I was very impressed by that, because we actually had an XG lower than Wolves, which shows me that was very clinical. Last season we kept complaining, Jem. If that goal went in, the game opens up. If that chance goes in, the game's completely different, right? The other day we saw 6 goals, bro, and the same pattern. We saw the same pattern like 3-4 times. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's very clear that Maresca's come in there and he's given them clear information that they're now trying to implement and trying to execute. And the other day it worked. It worked really well in the second half. I think he just gave them a bollocking, bro. Because in the first half, like I told you lot, that was anti-Maresca. That was not how Maresca wants to play football. That was Poch. That was Poch in charge. You know what I'm trying to say? Second half was exactly what I was seeing at Leicester from this guy in terms of the attack. So we've just got to make sure that we keep building on that. We've got Palace next. That's another game to hopefully, score at least 2-3 goals there, because Palace right now, they are not looking like what they were looking at last season, bro. We need to batter them and make it 13 wins in a row against them. And that's going to give these a lot of confidence, bro, because after that, it's international break, innit? So, I was really impressed with that performance, man. That was the best game of the weekend. Another game that you can look at and say, yeah, Chelsea have entertained us. You know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, 100%. And I hope we get many more, to be quite honest with you, like that. Starting with the cfctvyt game, and then we've got Palace at home on Sunday, or is it away?
It's at home, bro.
Is at home as well. So listen, do you know what? One thing I always say about us is we seem to perform better away than we do at home. And I keep saying that the away fans are so much better away than they are at home as well. They are. You know yourself.
They are.
Like, they get behind
the away
team,
fans are massive.
Booing and moaning. They go and they're committed. I like the people at the ground. No offense. They're just miserable. They need to change that. But Callie, what was your thoughts, mate, on the game?
Give me approximately 5 seconds because my obnoxious little brother do. Hi, Jordan.
Go on.
Say hi, John.
My fault. Yeah. I'll give you the quickest summary I can give you guys is that, I think the attacking impetus in both halves did not change. The issue was in our execution and our transitions. A lot of the time when Chelsea attack, because we use these wingers now, the one thing I like about Maresca is he will stretch the pitch. But a problem with stretching the pitch is your midfield gets stretched. When we get countered and we stretch the pitch like that, that's why Enzo and Caicedo look like they're in a brothel. So what we need to do, we need to figure out how we can take the beauty of this attacking system that Maresca has and at the same time improve our defensive transitions as well as our attacking transitions on the ball. If we can do that, this is a dangerous team. So about the Wolves game, to keep it really brief, because I'm about to hit the gym, it's the first half, it was like Couch said, a lot of individual mistakes, unacceptable individual mistakes, but it is what it is. And then towards the second half, what happened is, for once, not only did a manager do a proper substitution, a proper tactical switch, and a proper change of the system, but not his ideals or tactics, changing a little tweak, and then we start scoring goals. So for me, all we need to do is keep it consistent, get me a striker, get me 2 strikers if you can, and Chelsea will get top 4 bare minimum, and we'll see what happens after that.
You know what's really impressive though, Jem, about the other day, yeah, and quite refreshing, bro, yeah, is we had a clown in a bit, Callie, in a bit. We had a clown who used to make football, the game of football, seem like rocket science, bro. He warped a lot of people's minds into thinking you had to be fucking Einstein to set up a team correctly and to manage the game properly as well. Maresca the other day, bro, Mudryk, you're not really doing much. You're coming off. Neto, you come on. You know what I'm trying to say? The in-game management was good, bro. The way he managed the game was spot on because he could read the situation and he was able to act on it. And that's something that Poch wasn't able to do. Poch would always think about the opposition and not be proactive enough. He'll wait for something mad to happen and then he'll make the change. Bringing on the likes of Gilchrist and all of these meaty guys when we had better options on the bench. So against Man City, I didn't really like the in-game management, but against Wolves, bro, I liked it. It was good. It was good, man.
Yeah, and that's going to be equally very key going into this season is how he manages, how he problem solves. And I say that's so big, and we didn't. And you're right, with Pochettino, we didn't see that enough for me. He got better at the latter ends, but maybe that's down to partly to do with availability and stuff like that potentially. But Maresca don't muck around. I even like the way he expresses himself on press conferences and the way he deals with situations. He's just straight to the point. He's just straight to the point. He just says it as it is. He doesn't sit back. He's just like, well, this is the situation. Don't want him. He told him go. I sat with him on Friday. I said go. You know what I mean? He doesn't sit there going, well, we can't say anything yet because it's a situation in house and we're dealing with it. And Do you get what I mean? Which is what I feel we get a lot from managers. But this guy is very he's not. People saying is he a yes man? He doesn't look like it.
No, he isn't. He isn't. And I was telling people, because people were like, oh, are you going to give the job to a championship manager? You know, Chelsea is a big club. And I kept telling them, bro, I said, listen, these are the little intangibles in the game in terms of pressure and that, yeah? That's why he needs to be able to start the season off well. Because if he doesn't, that's when the pressure will get on top. Because you already know how toxic our fan base is, Jem, right? But in terms of coming into a big club like Chelsea and basically saying, yo, you don't fit what I'm trying to do, you can leave. You don't fit what I'm trying to do, you can leave. That shows me that the guy knows how to handle and deal with big egos, deal with pressure. And I kept using the examples of the fact that when he was playing for Juventus, yeah, this guy was in the same changing room as Zidane, bro, and Conte, yeah, big leaders. You know what I'm trying to say? And when he was at Man City, he was working with Pep in a pressured, winning environment. So I don't know why people act as if these things don't add to your experience. Like, it's not like we brought Maresca from Preston and he's had he hasn't had any experience around any winning, any big clubs. Bro, he's been at big clubs himself as a player and as a manager. So he understands the expectation that comes with it. You know, people don't look at these things.
It's because he actually hasn't been the focal manager, is he? Even though he's been Man City and other places, but it was the manager of the reserves at Man City, and they won things, didn't they? He had Palmer and Lavia there. You know, his intelligence of understanding what he has is good. I mean, another one that's quite impressed me, I don't know about you guys, is Vega. I actually think this guy's quite good. Like, it's early doors, good. I see something of this guy. Like, it's still early doors. He's a little bit raw here and there, but I just like his physicality. I like his strength. I like that. You know, when they try and knock balls long and he's at left back, he just wins it every time because he's just big. Like, you ain't getting around this guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's
exactly.
And on the ball, he's so good with the ball. He's quite techy, isn't he? Like, it's like little. It's good, man. He's a good.
That's why I keep telling people I don't care about big names, bro. Bring me the right profile, right? Stop being so close-minded because you've never heard of this guy. Just go do some research. When I didn't know about Vega, and I said, let me go watch this guy on Y Scout. I watched him, and I was like, I can see exactly why we've gone and signed this guy. Yeah, and the fact that he was brought in for Califori's replacement, that's a big thing for me, bro. Because clearly you've lost a big player in Califori who Arsenal just gone and signed, and then you brought him because you think he's going to be as good as him. That's a good sign. That's a green flag. You know what I'm trying to say? So listen, he's going to keep getting more minutes in the conference. And if he keeps performing, bro, and Cucurella ain't really doing much, don't be surprised if he comes in and starts.
Again, this is what Maresca said, and I love it. He said, you might have seen how we set up last week, and it's different this week. It's because of the way they're performing in training. If they don't perform and don't play as well as I want them to in training, or they muck it, like he just basically said, they won't play. They'll miss a game. I don't care who it is. Like, they will not play. Like, he's very focused on them being drilled, strict. This is how you have to perform, and you have to stick to this level all the way through. And if you drop your levels, the next person behind you is coming in. And this is good because he has that option. And this is why I don't moan about competition. I want competition across the pitch with all this talent and whatever. You've got to have that.
And the thing is, it comes from the top, bro. Because if you feel like your manager's going to allow you to cut corners, bro, even away from football, if you work somewhere and your manager's just lazy, they just let you do whatever, you're going to cut corners as a human, yeah? But if your manager's on your case, bro, and watching you and making sure you're performing, checking your call times and shit, bro, you're not gonna mess up. You're gonna make sure you're performing. And it's the same thing as these, man, because they know how strict he is. They're gonna make sure that, okay, when I get my chance, I ain't messing about because he's gonna drop me otherwise. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that's the mentality that you need at a big club, because you can't have too many people just feeling comfortable. You know what I'm trying to say?
And it gets them playing to a level, doesn't it? It gets them all thinking, shit, I've got to play at my top, my A game. I need to be on the top of my game, otherwise I ain't playing, man. Like, I've got Nato pushing me, or Felix pushing me, or like look at Nkunku. He didn't even play against Wolves. He come on for like 10 minutes at the end. He was on the bench. You know what I mean? Like, Nkunku's someone we said that's going to start games. I mean, he will. Listen, rotation is important. I think with Nkunku we've got to be careful.
You got to wrap that guy in like cotton wool. Trust me, he's
100%.
Like the last 2 years, he's been injured a lot, so they're not going to like just thrust him back in and give him like minutes after minutes, especially when you have a complement of players that we do right now. Don't worry about Nkunku though. He will play, and he will play a lot for us this year.
No, he will, and he will sure.
He will score with Netos and Palmers around him, and that. I want to see him with them all, fully flowing and that. Like, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. And I thought Jackson played well against Wolves, by the way. I thought he'd done his bit, little flicks, hold the ball up well, good goal earlier on. Like, he's a good player, Jackson.
Jackson. You know what he's improved as well, Jem. Yeah, Jackson's actually improved his heading. Yeah, he scored a couple goals with his head now. He scored a goal against Villa with his head. He scored a goal against Brentford away with his head. He scored the other day with his head. He scored against Nottingham Forest. Remember when Reece James just came on with his head? So he's actually improving that part of his game, and that's good.
Yes.
That's good to see. That's what I'm saying. These are young players, so you need to be able to like develop them. And over the year, I've seen Jackson improve, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%, 101%. And then obviously you got the midfield, and I'll be quite honest with you guys. I'm a big. You've heard, you know, my thoughts on the mid three of them. I want rotation as much as like I want rotation. If they're fit, I want them to rotate. But at this moment in time, I think Enzo and Lavia personally. That's just my opinion.
Based on form for sure. But
at the moment, it's got to be Enzo and Lavia. I think Caicedo's not right there yet. It might come later, but he's just not at it for me at the moment.
I will say this, I think it's probably just going to come down to what I think I said on Don yesterday. It's horses for courses, man. You just got to figure out what style of football you need for a specific game and pick accordingly. The thing about Lavia for me, God willing, he stays healthy, obviously, but Lavia for me is just the best all-around midfielder we have. Like he can kind of fit into multiple roles and do them adequately. You know, like he's a great tackler. He wins the ball. He's a guy that can pick a pass. He's physical. You know, anything that you want in a midfielder, he can provide for you. I don't know if you can say the same. Like I guess Caicedo's that way too in some ways, which is why people kind of think that Caicedo and Lavia would probably be the preferred midfielders, just based on the fact that like they can do more. I think that when you have Enzo in there, it's a specialty. You're looking for a specialized skill, like a guy that can like either sit deep and pick passes or be in that final third and thread them through. And
I just don't think people do it the way Enzo does it. That's my only problem. Like, I agree with the all-roundness of Lavia, but I think when you haven't got Enzo in that team, you will not have that variety. Yeah, you know what I mean, with the ball.
He can't do it like Enzo. That's for sure. No. He cannot do it like Enzo. Like Enzo's special skill is he's elite at his passing acumen. So without doubt, like that is a piece of his game that you're gonna need to, you're gonna have to either find a way to find the balance in the midfield to make him, to liberate him a bit and free him of some of the defensive responsibilities, or you're just gonna have to go with those two in there. But ultimately, I think that right now it's going to be Enzo and Lavia if he's fit, because Caicedo's just off the pace right now for me.
He is. And listen, Lavia and Caicedo is not a bad idea, guys, but it really depends on me who we're up against, because I don't think Caicedo, even though I think Caicedo's good on the ball, versatile, I think they're very all good technically on the ball. I don't think he brings that array of like ball passing as Enzo does. Like I think he can do it, and he does it in moments where he'll play like a pass through, in behind, or he'll chip a ball over left or whatever. Like he can do it, but it's just he's a different all round. When I always say about this, the system doesn't change. It's more the role of the players in the positions. That's what it is with me. It's like we put Caicedo in and you don't play Enzo, you lose that sort of ball progressive, way he plays the balls over the top, that vision in front of him of trying to always go forward and find that pass sort of thing. But with Caicedo, you'll get the off the ball work, winning the balls up high, trying to get involved, like doing his thing and then releasing balls quickly when he does get it. That's Caicedo. Lavia, you press him, he's the best at beating the press. He's going to beat you, and then he's going to look up and he's going to try and find the Palmers or the Netos that are making runs, and he's going to play that ball and he will find them. And he's got that natural ability to do that, So they all have this natural good ability, which I love from all three of them. Like, to be quite honest with you, it's just like you said, horses for courses, who we play against, who's the opposition, and how do we get the best out of what we've got and get up against the opposition we're against at the time. Who plays, who can change the game. It might be that Enzo's on the bench at home and we've got Caicedo and Lavia just sitting, but we're not really, we're not really finding them passes, or we're not able to get the balls into the tens and the wings quick enough. And then Enzo comes on and starts doing it, and it changes. Like, it's good having that option, like it's what I'm saying. But, so you need them options, relevant to him being on the pitch or not. I do think he's slightly favoured by Maresca earlier on, by the looks of it. being the captain and all that.
He definitely is. He definitely is, bro. But listen, if he puts out captain performances like that, bro, I ain't complaining. Yeah, I prefer Enzo deeper, as you don't know, in the pivot. But the way he played the other day, bro, just floating. Bro, Jem, if you watch I don't know what he's gonna do at the weekend, but I like this thing that Maresca's got our midfielders doing, like Enzo and Dewsbury Hall. They take up these positions like in the left half space in that area, bro, deep, right?
Dangerous,
and they just get it and they just switch it, bro. They switch it to Madueke, or they'll pop it in little triangles. That's how we scored the goal for Felix. It came from that left hand side, that little area there. But bro, what you lot are saying, I agree with a lot of it. For me, it's mainly just who are coming up against, who's playing well at that time, and then we move from there. Because I need Palmer centrally, right? I need to be seeing Palmer down the middle. I think that's where he's best. Yeah, actually creating for the attackers a lot closer. That's where I want to see it. So it's a good headache to have. It's a good headache to have, man. Because before we had Kovacic, Jorginho, and Mount, and these sort of guys to pick from.
Listen, I won't be crying if Enzo's on the bench. I won't cry if Enzo's on the bench. It's just I want to see what he tries to do with whoever he's got on the pitch at the time and how he problem solves. And if it means Enzo's on the bench because Caicedo and Lavia are physical and the midfield we're up against are direct and physical and they're going to bully us a bit, and he just wants people in there that can break it up and play the balls quickly to Palmer in the 10 and then Kunku and whoever, then that works because it's a game plan, isn't it? It's a game plan to be strong in the middle and actually win. And Lavia and Caicedo, let's be serious, together, they hunt everything. Like they're physical, aren't they? They will go into anything, and I like that. And I saw it at the bridge. Who were they playing when we had Lavia and Caicedo in the middle? And I think Enzo was it's Man City.
It was last week.
They were like every time they got the ball up high, the opposition.
That was against Man City.
Caicedo will go into a tackle high up, and if you don't win it, then you'll see Lavia going on high.
Behind him,
You know what I mean? They're like bang, bang, and I get that, and I like that. With Enzo, you can't get that. He will do it, but he's not as Rossi.
But that's the thing, though, Jem. That's the thing. The other day when we played Wolves, it showed you. Enzo showed you that he's not completely useless off the ball because he won the ball back a lot. He won the ball back a lot, bro. For one of the goals that we scored, he won the ball back as well, right? So Enzo, you don't want Enzo covering large areas because he ain't got the legs. You want him to cover little small areas where you just quickly win the ball back. That's what you want from Enzo. You know what I'm trying to say?
And in the first half against Wolves, what was the biggest problem in the midfield? The large spaces from Enzo to Caicedo. By the time he tried to get himself back into positions, there was just the gaps were too big for me, especially when we were trying to move forward with the ball. It was like he was nearly like an 8/10 a lot of the time. And I know that's why the way
he was an 8 though. But he wasn't 8 though. Like that's where he's going to play.
He was more like inclined closer to Palmer in them pockets than he was Caicedo, who's at the halfway line, and it's a big.
I think that's the area. That's the area. That's
what I don't like. That's when I moan. I'm like,
but the problem is, don't compare that to what you saw, because when you say that he was so far away from Caicedo, I feel like you're hearkening back to under Pochettino, where the problem is here. It's not that they're far apart. It's about how you recover in those areas, right? And when I think I said on your show yesterday, Don, like in that position where you're in the transition, you need somebody in that midfield that slows down the transition, and that's what Caicedo wasn't doing in the first half. If you have somebody in that can slow down the transition, then you're not noticing him being further up the pitch.
He's also not making the 5-yard passes.
But we got caught so many times in when we're in transition because we didn't have somebody in there that can just slow it down a little bit, put a body in front of somebody, intercept the passes. And then as a result, you saw like Gusto trying to get back into position. He's just hauling ass to try and get back out to the right flank there. And
I just don't think he needs Couch to be so involved in that 10 role when you have Palmer in there and Neto and Jackson dropping deep into them. I want him to be more in that sort of left-hand side, like deeper role where he receives the ball. He's still semi-deep, but he might be a bit ahead of Caicedo, but he receives it, he turns, and then he's got the variety, Palmer, Neto running down there, Madueke on his own going like that, and he can just ping them. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want. I don't want him to receive the ball so high up where he actually gets it and he's right next to Palmer and he's like 1-2. Like I want him. Do you know what I mean? Like I want him a little bit.
But even something like that, he's not going to be static in that position. Like he's going to move a lot, and sometimes when he gets that ball next to Palmer, you're going to see that. But it's not like that is his deployment. He's not going to be playing there 80% of the time. But there's going to be opportunities where you find him in those positions.
Yeah.
And it's just about trying to find space and whatnot, right? And I'm not worried about that. I think Maresca understands.
You'll see Enzo. You'll probably see Enzo basically where Jem's saying he doesn't want to see him, right? If you had someone like Lavia playing in that role, because the major problem we had in the first half was Caicedo wasn't progressing the ball to him, bro. So Enzo, people trying to blame Enzo. What's Enzo doing? I'm like, bro, he's not getting the ball because the guy that's meant to be giving him the ball ain't progressing it. He's not giving it to him. You know what I'm trying to say? But if you've got Lavia there, Enzo will know if I find these little pockets, he's gonna find me because Lavia looks up and he just punches it through the lines. That's what he does. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You will see him and you just play it straight away. So you're gonna see Enzo taking up them little positions and then just floating the ball in to the likes of Osimhen and that. Yeah, if we get Osimhen, Enzo's gonna get a few assists for Osimhen because he can find those balls that Osimhen likes. Do you get?
Yeah, and I think
you're already talking about Osimhen like that, eh?
It's the tech. You know what it is?
I'm saying if. I'm saying, bro, I'm telling you, if we get this guy, bruv, it's gonna be serious.
It's the technical ability. It's the technical ability of Lavia to be able to receive the ball with the press, turn, and punch it. Like you said, he punched it. If it's not side foot, I've seen this guy make passes on the outside of his foot, hard and low. Like he is confident. Like it doesn't matter if his body's on an angle and he has to do that kind of pass, or if his body's straight on and he then does it like a straight pass in. He has the variety to be able to always beat a man. Where's Enzo? Or where's the bang? Do you know what I mean? Let me get out there.
And that's a key trait. That's a key trait I like in players. That's why I like the likes of Vega. That's why I like the likes of Cole. Yeah, when it comes to punching it in, because bro, not every player can do that, right? When you punch the ball in, when you're playing football and someone punches the ball to you, especially when you're playing in attack here, the information they're giving you on that pass is what you need as an attacker, because it allows you to straight away take a first touch, and attack. Do you know what I'm trying to say? If you're getting a shit ball, you need to take a touch, turn, bro. When I was seeing the other day when Cole was punching it into Neto, bro, Neto didn't have to take another touch because the ball was so nice. He's just taking one touch and he's away. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Straight away, he's away, bro. And that's what you want for Enzo in between the lines. When Lavia punches it to him, you want him to just take it straight away on the back foot and try and create for us. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, bro, that trait of being able to just punch the ball in isn't something that every footballer has, bro. And the footballers that do have it, they are key. They're key in a system like this.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, guys, it's been a really good conversation today. Listen, there's no more Osimhen news or Toney news yet. We might get some tonight. Obviously, DiMarzio said hours, minutes. There's going to be a fee put forward to Napoli from Chelsea. Fabrizio Romano's kind of like, I wouldn't say confirmed it, but it's kind of said that it's still open, but he feels that it's going to go into like the last couple of days, which is now. I don't know, guys. I think we're going to have an answer this week. We've got to have an answer this week anyway, but I feel like it's going to be the latter end of this week that we're going to get an answer on this whole Osimhen Toney saga. And it's going to be really interesting to see with the Sancho thing. Don's very confident it's going to get done. Couch, on the other hand, thinks it's not going to happen. So you've got, we go other
I'm
way.
not very confident. But I think it will get done. I think it will get done, man. Like, Sterling to United just smells like Glazers. It just smells like Glazeronomics again.
Now, what's funny, Don? If I said to you,
Chelsea,
if I said to you three years ago that you're going to get Felix, Sancho, and all these players in the same team, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" Wouldn't you? You'd be like, "What?" Because back then, you'd be like, "Nah, you're mad. They're too good, man. Like, why are you getting?"
I just caution the chemistry there and like having too many pieces coming in vying for the same thing. Like, because the other thing too to take into account though, you're trying to sell these guys on this project, right? And you're telling them, you're going to come here. Here's your minutes. This is what we have planned for you. And then, it's a completely different thing altogether. So just too many cooks in the kitchen. I think we have enough players. We don't need any more. We need a striker maybe, and that's it. Obviously, how I feel about our defenders. We need two, but we don't have any. But going after wingers at this point in time in the window when you have other things to do just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's for that reason why I don't think it's going to happen. But it's not to say that I don't think that Sterling will go. I don't think that if he goes, we bring back another player, if that makes sense. I don't think that we can bring back in a like for like because it's just too many players.
I hear I hear you. Listen, we're going to keep you posted, guys, in the next couple of days. More transfer news. 600 people in the building still, guys. Big up to every single one of you that have been here as well. We appreciate you all. Make sure you check out Couch Critic on his YouTube. It's literally his name. Check out Greasy Don as well. Yes, your YouTube's. Is it Greasy Don? Is it Don CFC?
Nah, Don CFC.
Yeah, so Don CFC is YouTube, guys. Check it out. Also, do me a favor. When you come out of Chelsea Fan TV, go and watch the video below it. It's the Gym Chelsea, guys. Go and comment it. Go and watch it. It's quite funny.
Yeah, I watched it about this morning, man. I saw you huffing and puffing for 5 pounds. What's going on? You need to work out, bro. Get back in that gym.
No, it was. I didn't want. They didn't tell me we're doing legs. So I thought it was when I got there. They said like upper chest, like shoulders and chest. And I was like, all right, yeah, I don't mind that. I'd like shoulders and chest stuff. Then they were like, we're gonna do squats, and I was like, I didn't sign up for this, man. I didn't sign up.
Get a little lower. Get a little lower. I don't think I can.
But that it was really good.
It's a good watch. Good watch for sure.
It's a good laugh. I mean, it's really nice to actually do a workout and just talk about Chelsea. It was quite nice. But yeah, guys, make sure you go and watch that video. It is funny, man. Leave a comment there as well. And we'll be back again very, very soon, guys. As always, big love, big respect. Up the Chelsea. Osimhen or Toney, let us know in the comments who you want. And is Jadon Sancho going to make it to Chelsea? We'll find out soon. Peace, guys. Peace.